What's up everyone? Irrigation Farmer back today, and today we're going to do some interseeding. It's been kind of a fun morning so far. We've been getting a lot of moisture, a lot of irrigation, which is good. We've gotten a lot of irrigation because we've got a lot of moisture. Some areas have gotten 4 inches and just current events, and so it all runs off into the river, then comes to us through the canal. So we've been basically on irrigation, on 2 days, off 3 or 4 days, and back on. It takes me about 48 hours to empty my pond, so between all that, it's basically just running constant. And then we've got 3 different locations, so between one being on, one off, and that one off, this one back on, and it's been a lot of running around, which is great, but we need to get some hay cut. So we're trying to let things dry out a little bit and hopefully get to cut some hay. But I've got to go interseed real fast because I'm waiting to run some water. I'm filling up my pivot or my pond right now. So I need to get interseeding going so I can follow my interseeder with the pivot and start emptying out the pond. Otherwise I'm gonna get full and that's not good. Alright, so loading up seed, putting it in here. I don't have a tender because I just do small amounts, so not really worth it. But 20 bags, about 1,000 pounds going in. Alright, heading off to the field finally. Got loaded up, got things greased up, got air put in the system. I hope enough, we'll see. It should be pretty soft ground, so I shouldn't need a ton of downforce. I'm hoping, maybe, to get into the soil, we'll find out. I'm only going about 1 inch deep, so it's not like I'm going that deep. Here in the field, I got things smoothed out so we're level. I said we gotta check depth. Anyways, depth. Man, I can't say that word. I've got to check depth here, but I also have to change, I got to change my gear settings so I know how many pounds I'm actually putting up. So we're shooting for 43. So what I have is I got this chart here. So I'm going to go off wheat. Now it's a mix, but what I'm going off is density. So come back here to the gears here. So I kind of lubed them up a little bit. Sorry, it's windy. So first off, you change these sprockets here to know these 2 is your first gear ratio. So like this is a 12, I think, and a 16. So I have like a 24 and an 8 or 9, I'm not even sure. Sorry, these ones that you can switch out to here. And that changes here. What this has is a slider, so you can go, sorry about the camera here. So like that would be on a 4 here, on that number before. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this up, get it all going. Here's the drive itself. So that's what's driving everything to spin and run the gears. Here's the one issue with irrigation. I don't know if it's windy over here or not. Backwards. So when it's irrigating time, it kind of takes precedence. So I had to jump out of the tractor, come check water, see if it's done or not, go check some other water, make sets, and then I'll go back to interseeding corn. Just kind of the way it goes. It seems like it's hard to get anything done when this happens, but again, you just kind of have to do that. When it's a pivot, it's not a big deal because pivots usually work on their own, but sometimes not. However, flood every 6 hours, or depending on your sets, you have to go check stuff. I'm gonna go adjust some water, and I gotta go to another farm and get it ready or get it set, just double check it, and then go back to interseeding. Finally made it back into the interseeder here. So water's set at least for another hour. It wasn't quite done, so I'll go back, do that. But going back and doing this now. Just got out and checked. I'll check again the depth, but the depth was looking great, about 1 inch, which is kind of what I want, 3/4 to 1 inch. I'm planting 5 different species, and so it's kind of hard to get the best for all of it. So I go for where the cereal rye's at for 1 inch. Some of the stuff likes maybe a 1/2 inch, but out here it dries so quickly. I don't like to do that, so I just want to get it going. And I'll go with that. So what we're doing here, kind of see, we're going right in between the corn rows, so I have to kind of make sure I'm using last guidance, and we have RTK, which makes things a lot easier, or we can just drive straight down the middle and not run over corn. So what I'm doing is I'm planting cover crops in between the middle of the rows of the corn. Well, you guys might ask, Derek, why don't you just fly on the cover crops? Seems like a lot easier. It is a lot easier, a lot cheaper too. The problem is, we live in a very dry area. You see the dust behind me? It just dries out crazy fast here, usually, and we have very low humidity. In the mornings, we might be at 30-40%, maybe 50, but then it usually gets down to like 20 or lower, just depending on the day. So if we don't have good seed to soil contact, that cover crop just dies, and kind of waste of money there. So big thing with this is I am drilling it into the ground with this air seeder. So every row splits the corn, and I'm literally just planting cereal rye, cover crops, 2 rows of it in between every corn row. That way, using drills, I can actually get good seed to soil contact, get the moisture on from the pivot, and actually have good germination and success. Second question, why even plant cover crops? There's a lot of benefits to cover crops. One, it's part of my regenerative ag program. Sorry, hitting a wet spot here, so I gotta check out what's going on. But it's part of the regenerative ag program to try to get cover crops into the farm. Well, trying to get anything growing after corn crop is cut off is really difficult because we don't have a lot of moisture late in the season. So what I like to do is with the interseeding, I can plant in there, the cover crops get going, and I can actually have moisture from the pivots because I'm irrigating the corn as well. Next question I get asked a lot. You're in such a dry area, won't the cover crops dry up your ground? No. Well, that's the plan. So that's why this corn is a little bit taller. I don't plant right when I'm planting corn. I wait about 3-4 weeks to let the corn get up, roots established. That way, sorry, it's a little bumpy right here. Make sure everything's all right. Okay. So that way, the cover crops are always going to be smaller and almost go dormant during the summer. So they're not really taking a lot of moisture because they're almost going to shade it out, and the corn's just so much more ahead of it, so not a big deal. Now you can't plant the cover crops first. I guess you could, but in our area and probably most areas it'd be stupid to do. The reason is corn does not like competition. So if that cover crop's same height or a little bit above the corn, it's going to compete, cause issues, yield loss. So with this, corn gets up going, it's going to outcompete the cover crops, and it's a win-win situation. So let's take a look. I'm going to do some GoPro videos so you guys can actually see in action what's going on behind me and kind of what I'm talking about. Nope, I had some visitors come by. Got Cora and my wife Calais.
Hi. Say hi.
Say hi, Cora.
Hi.
So are you learning about soil health today?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you like soil health?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, that's good. Do you think we should keep doing it?
Yeah.
Alright. So she's almost, let's see, not quite 2 years, 18 months now?
20.
Yeah. 20 something, yeah. So she likes to talk a lot.
Yeah.
And really likes tractors, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you say tractors? Tractors.
Good job. And can you say combine?
Combine.
And what else can you say?
Backhoe.
Maybe not. So Mama brought out a snack of ice cream, and, or well, I guess what they call it, root beer floats. Anything with dessert Cora loves. Huh.
Yeah. Is this ice cream good? Yeah.
Yeah. Cora, you having fun?
Yeah.
Just reading everything, huh? Good job. On to mix number 2. So it just looks like birdseed is what it basically looks like, but this is a new mix. I'll have to look and see what's on it, but you can see there's big seed and there's really small seed. So you hope that it kind of mixes, they mix it beforehand, and you kind of just hope that it kind of varies, it mixes as it goes out in the field. So on the side that I planted green into, the cereal rye, I'm interseeding it now. And I changed up my mix a little bit from the other side. So I figured there's no reason to have a bunch of more cereal rye. I mean, I still put a little bit in there, but not as heavy as the other side. I don't need as much carbon here, which cereal rye is a carbon. So I need to change things up, and I put in a legume mix that has a lot more legumes in it, hoping to try to get some nitrogen fixation going on for next year. Probably won't have any of it available for this year. It takes a while for it to actually start to make it and then to break down. So it definitely will be for next year's corn. But I'm hoping that this is a rotation will work out pretty good, where when I have cereal rye already in the field, I'll put more legumes into the mix and get some free nitrogen for the next year. Alright, I gotta go check the seed, see if it's doing alright, or if I need to reload or what. Boom, zoomed in. So we're gonna go look at the Interseeder. Okay, so you kind of saw the videos, but so what's going on is, it just as I said, it's a drill disc leading blade, which means that right here, one of these blades is in front of the other. The reason for a leading blade is just to be able to cut stuff better. Have airbags for downforce to keep it into the ground. And then here's the closing system. Pretty simple. You got a tube here that goes into the main tank that's fed from this Venturi system, I believe is what they call it. So what it is, this fan spins, it sucks air, which goes into this tube down into every system. So every row has a hose, and it just feeds the seed right into the openers, into the ground, and this system closes it. Pretty simple system, really nice and efficient too. Alright, so I have to head home. So I went to go change some more water, eat some dinner, and come back. And I tried to air up the airbags on the planter, and the one thing that happened was air came out. So I was like, well, I guess we'll be alright. Started planting, I'm getting no depth at all. So, wasn't good. So I got to run back to the shop where we have our main air filter, air pump, put some more air in there, and then, yeah, come back. Because I gotta get it finished tonight before the pivot, because I'm not sure if it'll go across the field or not, and that would mess up everything. So, anyways, long story short, head back, and go back, finish up. Only about 10 more acres, so shouldn't take too long. All right, got some air in the system. The gauge was not working right, but I think I got it to where it was supposed to be, and things are planting a lot better now, so that's good to see. So got that problem fixed. Sucks I had to go all the way back to the shop, but oh well. So a lot of times guys ask, like, what kind of cover crops should I use? It gets kind of complicated, to be honest with you. I use Green Cover Seeds Smart Mix calculator. That calculator seems to work out really well. They're really good about trying to explain what every need is of what cover crop, and you can kind of say what I'm looking for. There's not really a shoe that fits all things. For example, on this field, I mean, this is my second year doing cover crops, but I did 3 experiments last year and 3 this year. Last year I had the grass down. I found out cereal rye worked really well for my plots. Annual rye didn't really do very much. Just kind of, I mean, it did okay, but not what I wanted. The rye did really good. Legumes, I didn't really have a lot of success with a lot, but it seemed like hairy vetch and red clover worked the best. So I'm going to use them again this year. And I think I've got a warm season one in there. Kind of basically what I'm trying to say though is experiment on your farm. Try different things, because you don't know what's going to really work until you try it, based on your moisture, your humidity, your how you're applying it, when you're applying it, what kind of herbicides you might be using. So there's a lot of things that go into this selection, but kind of need to know, what you're shooting for. Organic matter, grazing, interseeding, and that's why I like Green Cover Seeds Smart Mix, because you can kind of put that stuff in and it kind of finds pretty well, does types of covers that work for what you're looking to do.